Hi everyone, and welcome to another video on my channel. It's been a long time since the last video, and yes, I actually promised to be more consistent going forward. And today's video is about configuring customer feedback surveys for voice agents, right? So, in this video, we're going to be looking at a functionality that is now generally available for voice agents that really transforms the experience of gathering customer feedback on voice calls, right? So let's get into it. What are we talking about here? We are talking about the functionality that gives you gives organizations the opportunity to gather feedback from customers while they are still on a call in a survey, right? So if you think about sort of the options that organizations have for collecting feedback from customers that have called into their call center, the options are really so varied, right? Currently, the smoothest alternative or the alternatives that organizations typically have is that after a voice call has ended, they could send the customer a link to fill out the survey rating their experience. Now, let's be honest, how many customers actually fill out those surveys? Very few, if any, right? Now, this capability in Dynamics 365 Contact Center gives you as gives organizations a chance to gather customer feedback while the conversation is still ongoing, or just right after the conversation has ended, but before the call wraps up, right? So organizations no longer have to use classic surveys in customer voice, for example. They can configure a feedback survey that would integrate very smoothly into the conversation flow. Using a Copilot agent, there's now a chance to configure a conversation flow that will directly ask customers for their feedback and record this feedback inside of Dataverse. Why is this? Why is this? Why does this matter? Why should you care about this? This is because the functionality we'll be walking through today provides a very natural, smooth experience for gathering customer feedback. It doesn't break the flow. Okay. It also increases the likelihood that customers will actually respond to the survey, right? So this is also a very good possibility for organizations to increase the responsiveness or the response numbers on their surveys, right? So let's um, talk now about how to set up this capability in Dynamics Contact Center. There are four key steps. We're going to be looking at them in this video. The first is you would create a survey inside of the Contact Center Admin Center. Then you will go on to publish the survey in Copilot Studio. Then we'll add back into Contact Center Admin Center to configure the channel behavior. It's just one switch to turn on the post conversation survey and point it to the survey that we've configured in Copilot Studio. And lastly, we're going to review the survey results. All right. So let's get right into it. We're going to switch gears now into a demo. All right. So the very first step here is inside of contact your customer service admin center or contact center admin center. You would need to go into the customer settings. So let me zoom in here so that you have much better visibility. So you're going to go into the customer settings, and then in customer settings, we're looking for this area, customer feedback. You click on manage, and then you click on new, right? You have different templates, different types of surveys that you can configure. You can configure customer satisfaction surveys, a net promoter score survey, customer effort score, or a blank template survey, which allows you to fully customize what the survey is about and the questions that will be asked. We're going to go with a customer satisfaction survey, I'll click that option and then click on next. I'll give it a name. I'll say CSAT survey. You also need to select the language that the survey will be in. So this impacts, of course, the language of the survey questions. Now we're going to select English. In this particular case, we're going to opt to enable for voice channels because, like I said at the beginning of the video, this capability is already GA for voice channels, and that's sort of why I'm doing this video. So click on enable for voice channels, next, and then we're going to save the survey. After we save the survey, it takes a few seconds, and then we're going to have the survey being provisioned, right? Now this survey is available at this link, right? So if you copy this link and you actually open that in a different browser tab, you would see the survey. You see this. You see a canvas where you can test out the survey. Now, I it's likely that this breaks because of a known issue that we have a workaround for, but this is where you would be able. This is the canvas where you can test out the survey. All right, let's go back to the this experience, close this, and what you'll see is that the CSAT survey, the one we created just now, is it's in status in progress. Right now, this status in progress means that it is not yet ready for us to actually use it in an actual conversation flow. We still have a few more steps to do, right? So remember, the first step is you create a survey. The second step is you will edit the survey inside of Copilot Studio. So we're going to go in to Copilot Studio now. Let me zoom this in as well so we have better visibility. So we're going to go to Copilot Studio. Let me zoom just a little more. Yeah. So this is hopefully better. And then we're going to go into agents. I'm going to leave this. So let's go into agents. We'll see the list of agents here, and we have our CSAT survey freshly created here inside of Copilot Studio. I'm going to open that up, and what we'll need to do here is we need to actually publish the agent, right? So once we publish the agent, we will then be able to use it inside of an actual channel. So let's give that a moment to load. And once that loads, we want to simply click on publish, right? So there's really nothing else you need to do to get it working for the first time. You just have to click on publish. Now I'm going to click on publish. I expect this is going to flag. It is flagging the fact that the agent allows, does not require end user authentication. That is fine for our purposes. We're going to click on publish. And I expect that this fails due to a known issue that I already mentioned, which is the connection reference to Dataverse. All right, so that's likely to fail. And once that fails, we will then go into the topic and we will make changes that will resolve that issue. Okay. There's actually here, so this is the error that I was expecting. It is within the conversation start topic. And in that conversation start topic, we're going to see that this error is related to the Dataverse connection reference. We'll see shortly what that looks like and how to fix it. So let's give that a moment to load. Okay, now we're going to see our topic. The topic in question, the conversation start topic. By the way, this is the only topic that you can actually customize. All right, okay. The rest of the topics in the survey agents are off limits, so to speak. You cannot make changes to those topics. Only the conversation start topic can be customized, so you can really do whatever you want in this topic, but only in this topic. Now let's see where the issue is here. So the issue is here. It's the connector action, which is a database connection reference. Now this is a known issue, and there's actually documentation that calls out this problem. Right now, what we want to do is we need to go to the default solution in our environment. Okay, and in the default solution, you want to search for connection references. Okay, so search for connection references, and this particular connection reference is what we are interested in, the Microsoft Dataverse connection reference for MCS survey. We're going to click into this, right? And when you click into this, before resolving the issue, you'll see that there is no connection that was actually selected here. Now, what you want to do is select a connection that already exists and is valid, or you create a new connection. I already have a connection here. I'll just select that and save it. Okay, I already resolved the issue in this environment. That's why the save button is disabled for me. But in your case, you choose a valid connection here that already exists, or you create a new one and then you click on save. I'm going to close out of this and go back into Copilot Studio. Now, to resolve this issue, all I need to do is click here on add an action. I want to click on a connector. We're going to create a connector action, and in this case, it's a Dataverse connector action, and it's an unbound action in selected environments. Now, once I click on this, it will prompt me then to create or pick a valid connection. Now, let's see what how this plays out. And this should show me the valid connection that I had configured previously in the Maker portal. Okay, so let's give this a moment. All right, so here we have a valid connection. You also have the option here to add a new connection here. So click on submit. And once you click on submit, what I noticed when I was testing this out earlier was that you would have this action would self correct the by creating this additional node. The node in the topic that was previously broken will actually just fix itself. So let's give that a moment to refresh. And what we'll notice now is that we would have two connector action nodes, right? So this is the second one that I created, right? Which has no values in it, and you notice that the previous one, now looks good. So I'm just gonna delete this second one here. So delete this. All right. Once that's deleted, then I'm going to click on save, and then I'll publish. All right. So this is the end of step two of the things we need to do to get this configured. The next step will be then in the contact center, admin center, we are going to configure the channel behaviors to connect to this particular Copilot survey agent once the conversation between the human service representative and the customer has ended. So that would be the next step. All right, now to step number three, which involves us going to contact center, admin center to configure the correct behavior on the channel. Let's get into that. Now, the survey agent is published, and yeah, we can see that here. You can see that here. It's published. And if you go back to this, you can see in contact center, admin center, we can see that the status is now set to ready, meaning that you know it's good to go. We can actually use it within our voice conversations. Now, in order to use this survey, we have to go into our work streams, right? And within the work stream, we're going to choose which. Now to the third step, which involves making configurations within contact center, admin center. We are ready to take that step now because, as you see in Copilot Studio, the survey agent has been published successfully. And if you go back to um, contact center admin center or customer service admin center, my environment is still not updated to the new naming. You'll see that the survey in question is in status ready, meaning we are can now proceed to use it within um, voice conversations. Okay, so what does that entail? It entails going into your work streams. In this case, it needs to be a voice work stream because we've configured our survey agent to be enabled for voice. So we're going to go into a voice work stream, one of which is this at the top. And then within that work stream, we are able to choose which channels of the work stream should be configured for the behavior that includes asking customers the survey questions, right? So we're going to click on edits, and then under behaviors, we're going to scroll down here, and you see this is the toggle that we're looking for, the post call survey. When you switch this on, you have you could have you used to have two options powered by Microsoft Copilot Studio and customer voice. Okay, so customer voice is no longer being surfaced as an option for customer service. Now we're going to click on refresh here, and here we see CSAT survey. So we see that we only have two surveys here, even though we have four listed in the original list. That's because only these two surveys are in the ready state, meaning they've been published within Copilot Studio, validated as working properly, and now we can use them. Okay, so I'm going to click on this and then click on save, and once that is done, um, I will be able to actually test this out and see the data within Dataverse. So let's give that a few seconds to save. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place a call to this number. All right, so now we have the call connected, right? I'm not going to unmute myself just to prevent echoes, but what I'll do now is go ahead to have the agent end the call, and then while the customer is still on the line, the survey will be, the survey questions will be asked to the customer. Okay.
We appreciate your business, and we hope you had a great experience with our customer service. Please share your feedback so we can make the experience even better. How would you rate the overall quality of our customer service? You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
5.
Would you like to tell us more about your experience? You can say yes or no. I'm done.
No, I'm done.
Thank you for sharing your feedback.
Now the call will end. If I go now into the customer feedback survey response table, so this is a table that I can actually go into Dataverse to see. So let me just go into Dataverse now and show us that table, right? So here you'd see, click on all, and then you can actually search here for, let me let me zoom this in a bit for better visibility. Zoom that in somewhat. Okay, customer feedback. So that should filter down exactly the tables. Okay, so this is the table we're interested in: customer feedback survey response, and we're going to see now. We should see the survey response that was just passed up along. So this is the survey response you see here. It is for the CSAT survey, right? And I can see the raw survey response. I can see the regarding object identifier, and if I want, I could also see other data fields here as well. So let's see, customer satisfaction value. Right, so customer satisfaction value in this case, we can see it's actually adjacent, and you see that the value here is 5, right? Um, I hope that that shows up correctly. Yeah, so you can see that as 5, and for the previous surveys there was a 4, and another survey there was a 5, right? So you see the data that the customer has provided in the conversation survey, we can directly see within Dataverse. So that's the video. In this video we've been able to see how easy it is for you to set up customer feedback surveys using survey agents configured in Copilot Studio as well as in Dynamics 365 Contact Center. I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, please subscribe, and you can also turn on notifications so you get informed whenever I drop a new video. Like I said, I hope to be more consistent going forward, and next week I plan to drop another video exploring a different topic that covers Copilot Studio and Dynamics Contact Center to further empower you to enable transformative experiences for your customers. Thanks once again, and until then, I remain your host Adekola Adebayo. Thank you.